I fear you'd not have much use for any of the surprises we are likely to come upon. Thus we've decided you shall receive the deed to a vineyard, Corvo Bianco, and a sum of coin. You will doubtless consider this adequate. Title to the vineyard shall be given to you at once. Surely you'll need lodgings while you hunt. The coin, however, will be yours only once you have slain the beast.
Lovely, generous gesture, Your Grace. But, Corvo Bianco, isn't it the Duchy's temporary morgue?
Is it now? The Chancellery's bungled things again, we fear. Not to be left unsupervised for one instant. Yet, in its mood, a morgue should present minimal problems to a witcher. What's more, nothing enhances a wine's reputation better than a grim legend.
Thank you, Your Grace. I accept the contract, of course. But as I said before, I'll need some information.
Corvo Bianco, most well known as Geralt's House of Operations, while in Toussaint. However, Geralt wasn't the first owner of this estate. To learn more about Corvo Bianco, we have to go back in time. Corvo Bianco was built upon elven runes known as Gwyn Surbin, which literally just means Corvo Bianco in Elder speech. To give a bit more context, the elves were driven out of Toussaint around 780. This means the basis upon which the vineyard is built is about 500 years old at least, around the time when Geralt moved in. Corvo Bianco is one of the oldest vineyards in the Duchy of Toussaint. The precise origin of the vineyard has been lost. However, it is said that it was founded by the son of the man who at that time was the owner of the Pomerol estate. This son wasn't disinherited, and exiled with only a Gavh'e sapling to his name. During the renovations Geralt does in the estate, at some point he can come across an alchemy lab in the basement. This belonged to Julius von Gavh'e. Julius went to Barnard, the school for mages in the north. However, his passion for alchemy outshined his interest in magic. He dedicated most of his life to creating and perfecting the setup in the basement. He specialized himself in mutagens, and was even able, with his chief formula and tools, to transmute mutagens of monsters into mutagens of the more common sort. He never had any children, and didn't trust his colleagues. However, he wanted to pass on his opus to someone. Julius was a strong believer in fate by chance. This is why he wanted to hide his laboratory, so that at some point the right person or the right man would find it, and this being Geralt. However, it didn't mean for Geralt to find it specifically, he just wanted the right person to find it, and the right person apparently became Geralt. Much unknown for a long time after this. However, at some point in the past, the Duke, at the time, granted the estate to one of Boleus' ancestors, who was a headsman. This was his reward for his efficiency in his job as headsman. He was from Cadwani origins, and it was said that he chopped off more heads than there were grapevines in the ducal vineyards. He never hesitated, never sliced unevenly, and never botched the job. Corvo Bianco stayed in the family for many generations. At some point it reached Boleus. Boleus was an engineer. He spent most of his life working until he retired. Once he retired, he started making wine. However, this didn't go as planned. He lost his senses of smell and taste. At the same time, he was forbidden by his medic to drink alcohol. This, however, did not stop him in producing wine. He started making even more. He started throwing lavish parties for other guests to enjoy his wine. His friends came from far and wide to enjoy his wines. Meanwhile, he delighted in the fact that he could make people happy with his wine. One of the more interesting stories from these parties has to do with a suicidal guest. He wasn't used to the parties that Boleus gave, and neither was aware that Boleus had a habit of having the well filled with wine. A suicidal guest, who didn't want to live anymore after a heartbreak, decided to jump into the well. However, the feast was nearing its end. The well was starting to get empty. The guest, unknown of the wine, jumped in the well. He survived the fall, only breaking his legs. He drank the wine inside the well to numb the pain from his broken legs. When he was found the next day, he exclaimed that he had witnessed two miracles. He wasn't dead, and the water had turned into wine. As a result, the guest decided to devote his life to Lebioda and moved into a monastery in the Dragon Mountains all the way in the north. Apart from inheriting Corvo Bianco, Boelius also became a noble and was awarded a great deal of coin for his service as engineer leading a group of sappers which fought in the far north. He used some of his coin to rebuild Corvo Bianco. These renovations include a beautiful garden for his wife Nina. This was around the time when a craze for herb use swept Toussaint. The estate went downwards in the last few years under Boelius. Eventually, after his wife died, he sold the vineyard. The next owner of the vineyard was Baron Rossel. Just to be clear, there are some conflicting sources here about who owned it after Boelius. However, since Rossel was mentioned in conversations as being the next owner several times, I'll take this as the truth instead of Count Crispy, who was one of the knights that was dead before you arrived at Toussaint. So I'll just go out and say it's Rossel, because that makes more sense. Baron Rossel tried to make the vineyard profitable again. In attempts for this goal, he had olive trees planted. Where Boelius previously only had the cellar for wine storage, Rossel also used it to store his olive oils. It doesn't seem like it lasted long with Rossel. He had high gambling debts and was forced to sell off the estate to the ducal chancellery. For a short period of time, Corvo Bianco was used as a morgue due to a mistake. Shortly after this, Duchess Anna Henrietta gave the vineyard to Geralt of Rivia. Corvo Bianco exists out of a few parts. There is the main building. This is where Geralt's bed is located. The building exists out of a few rooms. There's a master bedroom to the left, which houses Geralt's bed, a few planks for trophies. The kitchen and dining hall were to the right, and upstairs is the guest room. Depending on choices made in Blood and Wine, you could have Marlene de Transtamare walking around your kitchen while she's recovering. Outside of the main building, you'll find a tunnel leading into the ground. This leads to the cellar and the alchemy lab. Opposite of the main building, there are a few smaller structures. These are the housings for the people that work at the vineyard. The greenhouse to the right belongs to Barnabas-Basil Folty, who was the mayor domo of Corvo Bianco. Barnabas-Basil, or BB for short, comes from a long line of mayor domos. His grand aunt was the one to start this tradition. BB served the Nibili family manor and worked for Admiral Rompeli in Nazir before he moved to Toussaint and became major domo of Corvo Bianco. Also, just as a mention, his name is most likely a reference to Basil Fawlty from the 1970s sitcom Fawlty Towers, played by John Cleese. Next to the housing of the staff is Roach's stable. If you head down from the stable, you'll pass by the olive trees and go towards the grapevines. On the north side, you'll find the gardens where Geralt's able to plant and harvest herbs. Now let's talk about the wine the vineyard produces. The grapes are grown on one of the oldest Gavh'e. The wine is aged in oak barrels and has a distinct taste with blackberry, wild cherry, plums and cinnamon nuts. In Blood and Wine, once Geralt gains ownership, he's able to restore the estate so it looks better once again. The total costs of the renovations are about 14,000 gold. So when you head into Corvo Bianco and you want to upgrade it all at once, make sure you have some coin to spend. Corvo Bianco is also mentioned in the books, although it's just a quick throwaway name used in a list of vineyards. But it, however, is still mentioned in Lay of the Lake. Corvo Bianco is Italian for white crow. Just a quick mention at the end of the video. That's everything of this for this video. That was everything I could find about Corvo Bianco. If you liked the video, press the like button. If you want to get more Witcher lore videos, subscribe. And other videos will be released later this week. Till then. Bye.
So tell me, Barnabas-Basil, what's the wine situation like here? Am I gonna produce any this year?
This year is out, I fear, sir. Last autumn, a fungus destroyed all the vines. Baron Rossel had new ones planted, but it will be some time before they start bearing fruit. Assuming that is, the fungus does not reappear.
That'd be bad. This Sacramento got me dreaming. It's amazing.
Isn't it, though? Allow me to top you off, sir. There.
Thanks.